Hey guys, Keaton here from TechSmart, and today we're going to be comparing the brand new Apple iPad mini with Retina Display, also known as the iPad mini 2, to the previous generation, the original iPad mini, and these guys are cool. I love the original iPad mini, but the newer one is a lot better. So let's go ahead and find out the differences between the two and find out which one is best for your dollar. So immediately hopping into hardware here, both of these are featured in aluminum. They both come in space gray and silver, some of the new colors they debuted this year. They look fantastic and feel great. But let's hop into the specifications now. So the original iPad mini, 7.95-inch display with a resolution of 1024 by 768 and a pixels per inch of 163, as the iPad mini 2 features the same 7.95-inch display with a resolution of 2048 by 1536 and a whopping PPI or pixels per inch of 326. So in terms of the thickness of the iPad mini, the original, it comes in at 7.2 millimeters in thickness, as the iPad mini 2 comes in at 7.5 millimeters in thickness, so definitely a little bit bigger. Now in terms of weight here, is this where things can get a little bit funky? The old generation iPad mini comes in at 11 ounces for the Wi-Fi model, and the iPad mini 2 comes in at 12 ounces, so definitely a little bit heavier. Now in terms of processors here, as this is definitely a difference, the iPad mini features a dual-core A5 chip clocked in at 1 gigahertz, and it features 512 megabytes of RAM, so a little bit sad there, as the newer generation iPad mini with Retina Display features an A7 chip, which is clocked in at 1.3 gigahertz, and that's the first 64-bit architecture chip out there, and it also is followed by 1 gigabyte of RAM in the M7 coprocessor, so that's definitely going to help you when browsing through applications and wanting to make this run smoothly. So both of these guys are running iOS 7, the newest software from Apple that was released earlier in June at WWDC 2013. Now here's where it gets awesome, and I love the part that they incorporated both of these. They both feature a 5 megapixel rear facing camera with a video resolution of 1080p, so that's going to be crystal clear, and a front facing camera of 1.2 megapixels with 720p HD capabilities. So that's going to be ideal for FaceTime or Skype. Now they both feature LTE capabilities, so if you want to go ahead and use it cellularly or just not always have to be connected to Wi-Fi, you can do that. And the pricing for the original iPad mini starts off at $299 for the 16 gigabyte model. Now keep in mind that's in space gray and in silver, but you cannot go anything higher in terms of capacity with the Wi-Fi model. And then for the cellular model of the original iPad mini, it starts off at $429, and that's again for the 16 gigabyte cellular model, and that's available on all 4 United States carriers, which are AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile. Now likewise with the iPad mini 2 with Retina Display, it starts off at $399, so definitely a price increase this year for the 16 gigabyte model, and goes all the way up to $699 for the 128 gigabyte model for the Wi-Fi. And if you want to go and hop over to the cellular side of things, it starts off at $529 for the 16 gigabyte LTE model, and that's again available on all 4 United States carriers, and goes all the way up to $829 for the 128 gigabyte cellular model. So definitely you have 2 options to go with here, but I think the iPad mini with Retina Display is definitely your best bet. So up next here is software. So both of these tablets are running iOS 7, the newest from the Cupertino fruit giant that we all love. And I gotta say, iOS 7 is definitely a new look. It was well awaited, and I was pretty much getting bored with all the previous generation of iOSs. So we have some new stuff like a toggles menu where you can just swipe up from your screen, and you're greeted with a camera icon, and you can go ahead and just click into quick icons without having to go into settings or the physical app itself. And you can pretty much just do it from any portion of the screen. I really do like that a lot. Also, you have a notification bar. You can just swipe down from the top, and you can pretty much access your notifications, check to see what's on your calendar, how stocks are doing, or just check the weather. Very easy and simple, and I really think they've incorporated a lot of widgety type features that we've not really seen. Also dynamic wallpapers, so you can have some 3D type wallpapers, and it's just a nice polished feel and gives you a lot more customization than we didn't ever have before. And I remember when people had jailbreak to go and get customizability on your tablets and phones and things like that. And then finally, Siri has been revamped, she/he, because there's now a 2-gender feature on there. You can do a lot more stuff with Siri, and I think that's great, and it's kind of stepping out of the beta phases and becoming something more. And we see that in car commercials, as you can now hook Siri up to your car and just be able to use it a lot more than you could before. So overall, iOS 7 rocks on these tablets. So moving on here is the display. This is a very crucial aspect, as you're going to be looking at this whenever you're using the tablet, or at least at hope, and you can definitely tell between the 163 ppi found on the original iPad mini to the 326 ppi now found on the iPad mini 2 or the iPad mini with Retina Display. They should just call it the iPad mini 2. But getting back on subject here, everything looks crystal clear on the brand new iPad mini. It's just fantastic. It was a treat to use, and it's just so finite, and I really am starting to see that Apple's just putting Retina displays in everything, and we can kind of predict when a device doesn't feature a Retina display initially, that's probably going to be the second launch. So don't get me wrong, the original iPad mini was great. We knew there wasn't a Retina display on there, and it was okay for the time being, but this just makes it a massive competitor here besides the price, and just gives users a gorgeous display to use their content on. And it's also great for, crisp text, watching movies, playing games, and I just found it an absolute treat to use whenever I was doing something on the new iPad mini. So furthermore, we're going to run the benchmarks on both of these. We're going to use GFX Bench, which will test the graphics card and graphics related things, and Geekbench, which just gives it a nice overall score. And I use this for all my devices, so it's pretty much a standard for me when I'm ever comparing devices. So putting these head to head and hitting the start button here and getting a result, this is absolutely shocking. We get a single core score of 246 and a multi-core score of 486 for the original iPad, and for the iPad mini with Retina display, we get a single core score of 1,376 and a multi-core score of 2,496. Absolutely astonishing, and that's just how much better and faster the brand new iPad mini with Retina display truly is. So sticking with the benchmark side of things here, we're going to test everything that has to do with it in terms of graphics, and we're going to be using GFX Benchmark 2.5 Egypt HD on screen if you want to get super technical, and it's pretty much just a knight fighting enemies with pyramids surrounding it, and somehow it calculates a frames per second score, and once it's gone through, the original iPad scored 22 frames per second, as the brand new iPad mini with Retina display scored a massive score of 49 frames per second, so that is definitely a substantial difference, and pretty much double in a little bit over that, so that's definitely something you're going to want to factor in to your buying decision. So both of these tablets feature a 5 megapixel shooter on the back with 1080p HD video quality, and on the front they both feature a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera with a resolution of 720p HD video. So for the most part, it works fine. I mean, it's not a phone camera. Keep that in mind. It's not a DSLR. You need to keep that in mind. Photos are going to be grainy the farther you zoom in, and in some cases, they're going to be horrible. But remember, this is the tablet camera. This is not supposed to be a professional camera. And if you're using it for a professional camera, why are we having this discussion? I don't even know. So with iOS 7, you get some effects in there. You can go and edit it in post, crop it out, add some graphs, things like that. And I think it does it fine for what it is. I was very satisfied with it, and it can definitely get you by if you're just taking pictures of nature with a tablet and you just wanted a large 7.95-inch viewfinder. But for the most part here, I thought it was fine. My photos turned out okay on there, and I thought the front-facing camera was surprisingly really good. I thought it'd be terrible, but overall, I think the camera excels on both of these guys. So up next here is battery life. So if you don't have a charged battery, or your battery is not lasting long enough, your entire tablet is pretty much shot, and you won't be able to use it until you get another recharge. So it charges via Lightning, definitely a big addition I was a fan of last year when they released the iPhone 5 and debuted the iPad mini. But Apple's claiming 10 hours of battery life on both of these tablets, which I find very surprising, as I was only able to get around 7 to 7.5 hours on the brand new iPad mini with Retina display, and around 7 hours on the original iPad mini. So it's pretty decent for the most part. It'll definitely get me through an entire day. I'm not using this tablet constantly, but I am using it enough to where it is substantial, and a good battery life is definitely crucial. So overall, it's pretty impressive, the battery life, and it should handle you just fine. Last but definitely not least is the new features featured on both of these tablets. They're both running iOS 7, which is a massive new feature, and it's really going to give you the nice polished feel and the quickness. And in terms of the iPad mini with Retina display, or the iPad mini 2 here, you're getting an A7 processor clocked in at 1.3 gigahertz, a full gigabyte of RAM. You're getting the M7 coprocessor, followed by that tremendous battery life, and a Retina display with a pixel resolution of 2048 by 1536 and a PPI of 326. What else do you want? Specifications galore. This is definitely just worth buying it purely for the screen, and I think you're definitely going to notice that when using this on a day-to-day basis. So overall, would I recommend the original iPad mini and the iPad mini with Retina display? Absolutely yes. For the original iPad mini, only if you can find it on a good price, you're going to be getting a pretty good tablet for the most part. Yes, it's going to be slow. Yes, it's not up to date like the current iPad mini with Retina display, but if you can find a pretty good deal lower than the current $300 price tag it has, go for it. It's definitely going to be worth it, and I think you're going to like it. Now, if you're looking to upgrade, get the latest, the greatest, this is the tablet for you. 326 pixels per inch, a gorgeous display. You're getting a smaller form factor than the bigger iPad, the full-fledged one they feature. You're getting the A7 processor. This thing's going to be snappy as hell, and it's definitely going to hold you out for a few years, and that's really what you'd want in a tablet, and I think this is a worthwhile upgrade. And believe me, $399 isn't easy. I was a bit freaked out too. I was hoping they'd price it at $329, but keep in mind, Retina Display, it's definitely worth it, and I think it's worth paying the extra $70+ for. Thank you guys so much for watching this video where we directly compared the old generation or the original iPad mini to the new generation, the iPad mini 2 or the iPad mini with Retina Display. If you guys enjoyed this comparison and love all the pixels the brand new iPad mini with Retina Display is packing, go and give this video a like, as it lets me know you guys want more comparisons, and believe me, we got a few more coming, as there's some other 7-inch tablets out there that the iPad mini with Retina Display really does compete with. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you thought of this. Do you guys think the iPad mini with Retina Display with the increased price tag is worth it? What do you think of the Retina Display? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Finally, go ahead and subscribe, as I have an awesome full month in December of pure giveaways. We're going to be giving away a MacBook Air, a few of these tablets, an iPad mini with Retina Display, an iPad Air, and potentially some other good stuff. So go ahead and subscribe. It's on screen right now, or you can find it in the middle section of your browser, and it's free. So who doesn't like free stuff? And it lets you know when I produce a brand new video, and it delivers it right to your subscriptions box. Thank you guys once again, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye bye.